An ancient wisdom tradition teaches us that when a student becomes ready, a teacher emerges. Today, I extend an invitation to explore one of existence's most profound foundations, the 7 Hermetic Principles, sourced from the legendary emerald tablets of Hermes Trismegistus, known as the Egyptian deity of knowledge. These principles serve as individual keys that, when combined, create the master key unlocking every door to the Temple of Mysteries. Each principle operates as a critical component of universal architecture, forming the blueprint from which this cosmos was constructed. Comprehending these principles means understanding the universe's mechanics. Those who master these concepts become architects of their own reality. Notice how these principles interweave and their sequence follows precise intention. Prepare to immerse yourself in Hermetic wisdom and enter the sacred Temple of Mysteries. Let us begin with the fundamental cornerstone of Hermeticism, the principle of mentalism. This first law declares, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." This seemingly straightforward statement contains infinite implications. What does declaring the all is mind truly signify? That existence itself represents a mental construct, where our experiences reflect our thoughts. Today we explore this principle's true power and its confirmation within modern physics. This principle not only unlocks the remaining 6 pillars established by Hermes Trismegistus, but reveals a secret completely transforming how we perceive and engage with reality. When we affirm the all is mind, we enter the mystery that the universe, everything that exists, existed, and will exist, manifests from the universal mind, what Hindus describe as Vishnu's dream. Each individual represents an essential part of this manifestation. Understanding what mentalism means becomes crucial. According to the Kybalion, the most recognized Hermetic text, mentalism reveals that reality is neither physical nor composed of solid, tangible matter, as we might assume. Instead, it constitutes a mental construct, a creation of the universal mind called the All. Imagine every element you observe, touch, and feel as part of an enormous mental projection, a vision many connect with the Matrix concept. This universe, appearing so solid to us, represents an elaborate construct emerging from consciousness itself. Ancient Hermetic masters teach an unbreakable connection exists between our individual mind and this universal mind. We are sparks of the All's mind. When you think, create, and imagine, you utilize the power of a mind ultimately belonging to universal consciousness. This profound understanding raises questions. If we are sparks of the All, why do we feel disconnected from the universal mind? What prevents us from perceiving this connection daily? The answer lies in another Hermetic truth. Our human mind, limited by experiences, conditioning, and individual perceptions, becomes obscured by the illusion of separation. Various spiritual and philosophical traditions share this perspective. Buddha taught that everything we are results from our thoughts. Our mind is everything, directly echoing the Hermetic principle. Contemporary science begins exploring paths, revealing the mind's depths and its influence on reality. Physicist Max Planck, known as quantum physics' father, stated he regards consciousness as fundamental, considering matter derivative from consciousness. The principle of mentalism finds fascinating reflection in the famous double-slit experiment, first conducted by physicist Thomas Young in the early 19th century, and revisited with greater complexity as quantum science advanced. The experiment initially appears simple. A particle like an electron is fired at a barrier containing 2 slits. Beyond the barrier, a screen records the particle impact pattern. When scientists attempt to predict this particle's behavior, something extraordinary occurs. If nobody observes the electron, It behaves like a wave, passing through both slits simultaneously and creating an interference pattern like pond ripples. However, upon introducing measurement to observe which slit the particle traverses, the electron chooses to behave like a particle, selecting only one slit, eliminating the interference pattern and creating a defined trajectory indication. This phenomenon reveals that on a quantum level, the act of observation modifies reality. The observer appears to interfere with the particle's essential nature, forcing it to choose a specific state. This phenomenon transcends materialistic understanding and opens doors to deeper interpretations of the relationship between mind and reality. The double-slit experiment confirms that observation, consciousness focused on a point, possesses the power to determine the state of things. Here lies the great teaching of the first Hermetic law. Reality is malleable, subjective, susceptible to the conscious mind that observes, interacts, and creates. This is what Hermes Trismegistus indicated millennia ago. Consider the mind as a vast ocean where every thought, every observation acts like a stone cast onto the water's surface, creating ripples and affecting everything around. When you direct attention to something, you cast that stone and create movement, transforming potentiality into manifestation, like the electron deciding to be a particle instead of a wave. We live in an era where human attention has become the most coveted resource. Our energy, once focused on conscious creation, is being manipulated and consumed, and this is no accident. Modern distractions, social media, constant notifications, advertising, and endless information streams act as silent thieves of our mental energy. This mind fragmentation distances us from our creative essence and transforms us from authors into mere reactors of our experiences. Studies demonstrate that information excess and constant stimuli alter our ability to concentrate and remember long-term, impairing our capacity to maintain focus over time. The mind loses sharpness and clarity, as if our mental strength is a blade that daily distractions wear down, making it less sharp and effective. In Hermetic teachings, attention is viewed as a tool for creation. Imagine it as concentrated light through a magnifying glass. When attention is focused, you can concentrate all energy on a single point, intensifying and manifesting what you desire. When that light disperses, we lose the power to transform and direct our path, becoming passive observers submerged in superficial stimuli. The key to regaining control of your reality lies in regaining control of your mind, and nothing is more powerful for this than meditation. When we speak of reclaiming mind control, meditation emerges as an essential practice. Meditation acts as a workout for the mind, strengthening our attention span. By sitting in silence, focusing on breath or internal observation, you gradually break the distraction cycle dominating modern life. Meditation also provides one of the most powerful ways to access the subconscious. The subconscious largely dictates what we manifest. Therefore, if we want to transform our reality, we must dive into our subconscious depths and dissolve beliefs, fears, and traumas blocking our creative power. The subconscious is the vast ocean containing thoughts and beliefs we often ignore. Yet it paradoxically shapes our perception and consequently our reality. Imagine the subconscious as a video camera recording every moment, emotion, word, and image since earliest childhood. This constant recording includes emotional interpretation, recording fears, joys, insecurities. Each memory and emotion, once fixed in the subconscious, creates invisible molds determining how you view the world. Limiting beliefs are ideas deeply rooted in the subconscious that generate restrictions on what we consider possible. For instance, someone believing unconsciously they don't deserve love may unconsciously push away people who genuinely love them, sabotaging relationships. These limiting beliefs operate like hidden programs, binding us to repetitive patterns and cycles. Through intentional reprogramming, positive affirmations, visualizations, and meditative practices, we can remove deeply rooted beliefs and replace limiting patterns with a new self-vision. This requires patience and repetition, as the subconscious is like fertile soil, needing to be plowed, nurtured, and cared for. The second Hermetic Principle teaches us, as above, so below, as within, so without. This ancient truth expressed in the Emerald Tablet invites us to look beyond appearances and perceive that microcosm and macrocosm are not separate entities, but two faces of the same universal reality. The same intelligence forming stars forms atoms within our bodies. The principle of correspondence holds that reality in all dimensions is structured fractally. Every fragment of the whole reflects the whole. Cells in our body carry the same genetic code constituting the entire organism. And each cell is, in a way, a microcosm of the body. The movement of galaxies resembles atomic and electron movement in their nuclei, showing that universal laws remain consistent, whether on astronomical or subatomic scales. From a spiritual perspective, as above so below, leads to deep understanding of everything's unity. Jesus Christ wisely said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Just as the cosmos contains potential for everything, the human being in their inner microcosm contains the divine seed. The human mind is simultaneously an observer and creation of the universe. The principle of correspondence invites us to see the universe as a series of layers and realities mirroring each other. It suggests intimate relationships between different existence planes, where what occurs on one reality level has reflections, parallels, or resonances in others. This natural phenomenon is a perfect manifestation of as above, so below in nature. Fractals are shapes repeating on different scales, observable in tiny objects and colossal structures. Take the Nautilus shell's spiral symmetry compared to a spiral galaxy's shape. The same Fibonacci mathematical sequence organizing flower petal growth applies to galaxy arms. The third Hermetic Principle reveals that nothing rests, nothing is static, everything vibrates. This law, transcending cultures and traditions, is an essential key to understanding the cosmos's hidden workings. From ancient Hermetic texts to modern quantum physics, the idea that everything is in constant vibration has been a fundamental pillar for those seeking to unlock the universe's mysteries. Modern physics confirms what the ancients intuited. In quantum physics, we understand the material world consists of atoms and subatomic particles in constant motion and vibration. This incessant movement creates the reality we perceive, though it's much more fluid and impermanent than our senses suggest. The law of vibration is closely connected to the famous law of attraction. Understanding this is key to obtaining what one desires. Cultivating high-frequency emotions such as love, gratitude, and compassion transforms our vibrational field and puts us in resonance with a more harmonious reality. The fourth Hermetic Principle states, "Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites." This law reveals that everything existing is interconnected through opposing poles, hot and cold, light and darkness, good and evil, positive and negative. These opposites are not enemies in eternal conflict, but complementary forces coexisting to create balance and motion. The law of polarity manifests powerfully in human emotions. Love is expansive, dissolving barriers and connecting us with something greater. Fear, its opposite polarity, is contractive, distancing us and creating barriers. These two polarities are creation's foundation. The ultimate alchemy is transmutation from one polarity to another, moving from extreme fear to unconditional love. The fifth Hermetic principle is the law of rhythm, revealing that everything follows a rhythm, everything oscillates, everything pulses in perfect cycles. Understanding this law means finding harmony amid chaos, balance amid change. The universe is an eternal dance, continuous movement from one side to the other, flow and ebb that never stops. Everything in the universe follows cycles. There is always action and reaction, advance and retreat, rising and sinking. This manifests in creation and destruction of worlds, rise and fall of nations, in all things' lives, and finally, in human mental states. Everything flows in and out in pendulum motion governing existence. The sixth Hermetic principle states, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. This law is the principle governing the universal loom. Nothing in life is arbitrary. What we call luck or misfortune is actually the effect of invisible causes we planted in the past, sometimes in this life, sometimes in other existence dimensions. The law teaches us that behind the universe's apparent chaos lies sublime and flawless order. Every event we experience, from greatest achievements to most painful challenges,